So it turns out Mario Kart World is that game, and we didn't even have to wait for the Nintendo Direct. Good morning, Mario, and good morning, Switch fans. More like good Mario. Good morning, Mario Kart. That's what I was trying to say to all you, because hot diggity dog, new things have been uncovered in Mario Kart World that already make the game so much better, and we haven't even ran into the presentation later this week. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from Switch Force. Hit that thumbs up button if, like me, you can't wait to play Switch 2. It's got to be sooner. June 5th is very far away. I just want to pre-order so I know I'm locked in. I'm thinking about going to PAX East so I can play the system a month before. That way I can get some hands-on for all y'all. But people have been getting hands-on with Mario Kart World already, and they're uncovering more and more about this game that truly tells me Nintendo A has no clue what they're doing, and B, there is so much more to Mario Kart World than what we believe and than what we've been led to believe. So Nintendo, man, you can't just come out of the gates with your full-blown punch. You got to slowly deal it out one finger at a time. They're really not letting on what Mario Kart World is all about. And this comes from a number of different sources, including Engadget, who played Mario Kart World and said, yes, this game does have a 120 FPS mode, which is pretty freaking sweet and sick. And I understand that frame rate to dollars should not be a ratio that we buy into, but how many games are running at 120 frames per second? Not very many. And Nintendo getting their Mario title, their Paramount Mario Kart game with the system at launch to run at 120 frames per second, that's pretty darn swanky. That's pretty darn cool. And while it may not in your head justify the price yet, I think it is a factor that can contribute. So Engadget comes in. They're the only ones that have said this, which is a bit bizarre, but I guess it seems like as the weeks go on, people are getting more detail with the demo. Nintendo is letting them access more of the demo. So Engadget is reporting that, yeah, like there is a 120 frames per second mode here, and that it looks absolutely silky smooth. I'm talking Hollow Knight Silk Song smooth, and that it's absolutely a beautiful game, and Nintendo is making their mark on this ridiculous 120 FPS revolution, I guess. I mean, I know people on PC play at 120 FPS, but how many console games, how many Mario games, how many Nintendo games are doing this for your upgraded Switch 2 with upgraded hardware, upgraded screen, and obviously an upgraded experience across the board? Now, that experience goes more than just what your eyes can see. This one is coming from a cool YouTuber named Getting Mads. They've got a great channel where they're basically like a cartoon character. I think it's freaking sweet. And they got to play deep into the Mario Kart World demo, and they uncovered so much more. Okay, this is where it really just expands to, okay, Nintendo, like, why aren't you showing this stuff off? One part of it they did show, but then they really tried to keep the rest under wraps. And I just, if Nintendo is going to start really just pushing the limits of pricing, if they're going to start pushing the limits of what we can pay for a game, they're going to have to change their marketing. They can't just go in upside down and be like, Mario Kart World is Mario Kart, but oh wait, let's show you why it's World slowly but surely over the next 2 months. No, they're going to have to come out swinging round one. And they kind of did with this element where we saw Birdo driving into this truck in the Mario Kart World opening trailer, but then we've never seen it again until today. Getting Mads was free roaming around the world and was able to drive not only into this trailer truck, but also into a boat and then become the vehicle. Not like the vehicle just carried him forward for a bit, used as a shortcut, but rather he became the vehicle. And now he's a huge, crazy boat or a huge, crazy truck, and he's wrecking everything in his path. Now, these vehicles were found in the ocean, and they were found off the beaten path of the main track. Therefore, they could be things that are meant for free roam and, you know, the single player that I really believe is hiding there, or they also could be incorporated into tracks as well. It seems like upgrades of a totally different sort are in Mario Kart World to expand the power-up game beyond what we know power-ups to be. Power-ups go on your booty. You got a banana peel, you got a shell, sometimes you have a little lightning bolt. What if now I could drive into a big vehicle and basically it's Transformers Mario Kart? I think Mario Kart really succeeded by having one central gimmick for so many of its iterations. And it feels like Mario Kart World is like, we're going to give you like 5 games worth of gimmicks in one game and put it all together for the craziest, most bananas Mario Kart ever. Oh, 24 players, boom, now it's crazier. Oh, Knockout Tour, everybody's been raving about how intense Knockout Tour is. Let's make you sweat and survive as long as you can, Battle Royale style. Oh, now you can be all these random characters like a cow and a snowman, throw it in there. Now you can drive into bigger vehicles that can wreck the track, wreck the other racers, and basically function as a power-up of their own. Okay, great. Kamek might throw something at you and transform you into a new character that you unlock. That's also part of this, and something we've seen more and more is being uncovered, that this racing experience is far greater and far more evolved and different than what we initially were told to believe. It seems like Mario Kart World isn't just about grinding and wall riding, it's about doing a million different things, including getting yourself way out there. This free roam mode from Getting Mads really highlights how Nintendo is letting you just wander, that this world is really big and that there's a lot out there. In fact, there's a lot out there that seems to not be purposeful. It seems to be purposeless. But I know Nintendo, and I know they don't do things without purpose, and therefore, I fully think that the free roam mode removes a lot of the sticky glue that guides the single player mode together. I think free roam is more about just like la-di-da, partied up with your friends, and take some photos. But I think there is definitely a mode that is going to take advantage of these purposefully placed things that currently seem purposeless, because what is a flag doing out in the middle of the ocean? What are these boxes doing out in the middle of the ocean? Why is there a vending machine throwing items at me? All of this can be seen in this gameplay from Getting Mads, and it's clear there is much more. Not to mention, you can scrub through the footage and find what looks to be a plane, like a cargo plane that you can drive into, or it seems like you can, and you might be able to really just explore the open world and or wreck the other racers with these big vehicle transformations. And being fully controllable is really sick and really sweet, as they will drive uniquely, distinctly, and have physics, because they're clearly destroying quite a bit of the environment and of the world. Now, if this is what Nintendo has baked into this demo, which is meant to withhold information, imagine what all is there when the game is actually the game. Remember, I think it's very important to keep in mind that this demo presented to players and press at the Nintendo Switch 2 experiences is but a chunk of the game specifically cut and diced for this event. Now, if you're not aware, they can cut out huge parts of the game, block off huge parts of the game, and make a specific separate segment just for the public and press to play. Therefore, options, features, and more can be removed and can be changed. And if anyone's going to do something like that, it's going to be Nintendo. I guarantee you the full Mario Kart is going to have more than what the demo leads on, and we're already beginning to bust through the seams. Now, I've heard some people speculate that, oh, maybe if this is in the demo, maybe there isn't more there to it. Maybe this person is just finding the edges and breaking open the demo and revealing what Nintendo is hiding. But let me ask you this question. If Nintendo is going to have a Mario Kart World Direct, which, hey, they are they really going to say, our big feature is we're confirming what was in the trailer. Birdo can drive into a trailer and then you control the trailer. I mean, they'll probably talk about these vehicle transformations, but is that really all it's going to be? They're going to talk about the 120 frames per second mode, hopefully, because I think that's a great achievement and something that I personally will get a lot of love out of. But is that Direct worthy? You got to ask yourself, how is Nintendo doing this? What have they shown? What are they giving people access to? And what aren't they? The things that they aren't, that's going to be the highlight and the focus of the Direct. So even though people are discovering more and more, and we are getting a glimpse at what this game can offer and does offer, I think there's still a lot to be seen. I'm telling you, Mario Kart World feels like Nintendo spent the last decade trying to build the best Mario Kart and put their tour team on the course booster pass. No shade to them. They made a pretty good mobile game and then converted those tracks into a great pieces of DLC for a 12-year-old game. But they haven't had a new Mario Kart in that long. Give Nintendo a decade and see what they can deliver. Give Nintendo even 5 years and see what they can deliver. I don't think people expected Breath of the Wild to be the transformation for The Legend of Zelda that it was when we first saw the trailer. They're like, okay, Link is on a field. He jumps off the field. What then? Mario Kart World, I feel, is going to be maybe not as drastic, but similar of like, okay, it's Mario Kart with wide tracks and 24 players, and there's these food bags where you change costumes. Nintendo is clearly making a much bigger game. They're making a much bigger game that they're willing to bank their console on, their launch on, and their price/ profit on. They feel so strongly about Mario Kart World that they're ready to go all out and say this is the Switch 2's launch game, when transition to Switch 2 has been something Nintendo has been nervous about for the last 8 years. Yes, that's every year of Switch 1. They've been worried about this moment. Since the Switch 1 became successful, it was like, oh crap, how do we continue this? And Mario Kart World is what they chose to push themselves into the next generation. I think these findings of these transformative vehicles, the open world being even more expansive, and Nintendo themselves continuing to say, stay tuned for more, we've got lots in store. Bill Trennan like, I think we're going to justify this game for you. Come on now. Thursday can't come soon enough, and I bet my bottom dollar that Mario Kart World is a world, that Mario Kart World has more in store, and that Mario Kart is going to be a beautiful mix of single player, multiplayer, casual, and competitive all in one. We're starting to see that come through the cracks, and I couldn't be more excited as we push into the week of the Direct. Another Nintendo Direct, baby! It's been but 2 weeks, and we're already back in the presentation station from Nintendo. What do they have to show us? What more could there be? There's more. It's not just this. It's not just transformations, but this is monumental. And like I said, I think the thing to think about, Nintendo used like 2 racers in one kart. Nintendo used like gliders. Nintendo used different things like the anti-grav. One gimmick was kind of the centerpiece. This time they're connecting courses, they're giving you transformations, they're bringing in tons of characters. You got grinds and wall runs, you've got all sorts of different ways to apparently acquire items, as now planes are coming and dropping items off, vending machines are spitting them out. What else are they hiding? Let's wait and find out. In the meantime, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. Let me know your take on today's topics in the comments down below. And until next time, Switch Force out.